Hi everyone, this is Phil. Happy New Year. This is the first video I'm making for my own channel in a while. So today I'll be talking about moretry. Moretry is a new 3x3, I guess this is the tianma, but they're a new company that released this 3x3 and the brand is called moretry. So I was making a video on the Cubicles channel about unboxing and giving my first impressions on these videos. And I thought I would make a separate video on my channel explaining what I think can actually be done to help these cubes perform better and also just do better as products. So I'm not like a professional cube designer, but I know enough about product design and e-commerce and selling stuff in the market to offer some suggestions. And I also am aware some suggestions are welcome. So uh, yeah, here goes. So I'm going to talk about the assessment of the cube from like a product manager perspective and the cube itself and not so much the feature choices first. So the cube, the mechanism, it seems fine. You know, it's modern and it has a good uh, hand usable adjustment system, so you can adjust the elasticity by hand. The magnets are not adjustable. The cube is a regular size, and it looks like it has some YJ-like engineering, like the type of plastic, its texture, the features all look very similar to YJ. And my understanding is the person who made this was affiliated with YJ. Whether they're still affiliated with them, I really don't know. It's whatever. Either way is fine. So one thing I noticed in this cube is that the magnets are really strong. And when you have strong magnets, I think this is a cardinal rule in SpeedCube design. If you have the stronger the magnets you have, the more it will alienate users. Because at least if you have weak magnets, users can add additional magnets like the RS3M 2020. You know, it's like eating. You know, if you haven't eaten enough, you can just always have more. But if you've overeaten, you know, it gets a little weird if you want to somehow reduce the amount of food you've eaten. So the stronger the magnets are, the more it will alienate users. And I think it's the job of the manufacturer to figure out what degree of strength to go where you capture most of the market without alienating a lot of people. You also don't want to go super weak and force everyone to upgrade their puzzles using like third-party magnets, because that makes you look like a crappy designer also. So finding the middle ground is, I think, important, and I don't think that this cube achieved that. The magnets are so strong, I can't even turn full speed. Of course, I'm a light turner, so maybe other people who handle strong magnets better will have a different opinion. But I found myself unable to turn the M slices. I could do an M2 with one flick. It was just so different from my expectation that I actually didn't enjoy cubing. And I was streaming with this cube and I like kind of made myself solve on this a bunch. And honestly, I kept telling myself and the stream that day, I just don't enjoy this. I'd rather be doing something else. Like I want to go outside or I want to play a game or I want to do something else and not cube. So that's what alienating a user feels like from the user's perspective, and it can suck. So yeah, it's pretty rough. The magnet radius of the cube is also pretty small. If you see, the magnet is inset over here. There is opportunity perhaps to move it out to give it a bigger radius. That's a personal preference thing. I don't really know. Now cubes have two radii. I guess they have big radius and small radius. So, but whatever. And the other issue there is, you know, is this competitive with the RS3M? And I call this the RS3M test, which essentially says, you know, the RS3M is a $9 cube. It's not expensive. It's well documented. A lot of people use it. People who are beginners, all the way to people who are way more skilled than I am. And the test is, does any new 3x3 actually, can it beat the RS3? You know, can it help me generate better results? And honestly, I get better results on the RS3. So for me personally, this cube fails the RS3 test. I don't know how much these cubes are worth. I don't know how much the manufacturer wants to price them at, but I can't imagine a cube with maglev and feet magnets costing less than $10. So for me, besides being alienated by the strong magnets, it just doesn't work for me anyway. So that's that's the other thing. So the biggest question I think people have with this series of puzzles is, why are there four versions of the same thing? So let me show you. There are literally four versions of the same thing, and I think from a variety of business perspectives, this is a really strange idea. So the first one is what we call choice friction. And choice friction is a concept where people get exhausted by choice. If you have a menu with too many items, if you have a game with too many options, if you're looking to spend money and you have a finite amount of money, but then you're bombarded with different ways to do that, you want to get your money's worth. You want to make sure that what you're spending on and what your decision is ultimately being made is worth it and informed. So when you give a person way too much choice, you run the risk of them not choosing at all, or them choosing a simpler something else. And a lot of companies do make the same puzzle over and over again. Not really, but similar puzzle. Like GAN does that, but at least GAN staggers the releases of the puzzle. So like the 11M Pro comes first, and then you get the Duo, and then the 11M, and then they have some like Mini Pro. They all come at different times so that when the one that they really want to promote comes out, there isn't much choice. You just choose it and you go. Like, you want it, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy it. And this cube does not do that. And the problem is made worse if you don't even understand the choices you're making. And I think that's another pitfall that this cube has, is that the packaging or whatever's inside, it doesn't tell the user at all what the differences are. And when I was making the review with Jesse, we actually had to guess what the differences were. Some of the differences were clear, like the most basic one, the single magnet one, didn't have feet magnets. And we had to look really hard to find out why the super magnetic one was super, and it was because it had maglev, right? So, and then the middle one between the double and the triple, we just couldn't figure out what it was. So we felt that one had like a stronger feel than the other, so we just went with it. But it's not obvious, and if you can't convince me how your cubes are different, good luck convincing me how they're better, right? Like, why is the triple one better than the double one? Why is the super one better than the triple one and the double one? Who the heck knows, right? And the other cardinal rule that I think this cube has an issue with is, if you're going to do something that's different from the standard, you should explain why it's better. Otherwise, don't do it, right? That's something that happens in every industry, but specifically in cubing, some companies run into trouble with that, right? They say like, oh, we have maglev, we have this style of feet magnets, we have interchangeable panels on the sides of the cubes to change the texture, right? If you're going to do something different from everybody else, explain why it's better, right? Why should customers have to pay more for that feature? And the different thing that this cube does is, instead of making the cube adjustable, you've released 4 versions of it to express different types of magnets. And that's different from just releasing one cube with adjustable magnets. So why is this better? I have no clue. The company takes no effort to explain that in the packaging. I can't even, like, if you asked me, like, if I just suddenly magically worked for this company and you told me, Phil, make up a reason, I honestly can't. I can't explain to myself why 4 versions of the same puzzle are better than one, unless you're thinking from the company's financial perspective and you want people to try the cubes. That's very dark. So I hope a company actually doesn't do that. And it doesn't help that the name of the company is moretry. It just kind of weirdly ironic. So yeah, I think a lot of the pain points that occur with this cube is that the difference between the 4 cubes isn't advertised. It's not clear in any of the packaging or any of the presentation of the puzzle. Something like a pamphlet would be really helpful if you had something in there. So for example, the single magnet one, if it said like, hey, this is the single magnet one, it's the simplest, but here's a description of the other ones. And at least maybe you can try to convince people to believe that they got a good puzzle, but there's a better version out there that they need to buy, you know? So there's things you can do in the marketing, in the packaging that can potentially help you differentiate these puzzles to make people choose easier. And something on the outside of the cube would help too. Like all these cubes look the same. The logo is beautiful, by the way. It's like kind of on the piece itself, and it's really it's well made and durable. But all of them look the same. I can't pick one up and just say, oh yeah, this is the super magnet one. I actually have to look inside the cube or try. And interestingly enough, we did a blind test with these cubes, and with, I believe, 4 people. It was myself, Jules, Jesse, Damien, and Ro. Oh, that's 5 people. Everybody got it wrong except Ro, who got it right. And when he got it right, I wasn't even sure he was like super confident. So yeah, it was. I would say these cubes are really hard to differentiate, and the manufacturer should perhaps take some measures to help. Yeah, I think I really don't know what to expect from these cubes. Like, it would be really sad if this cube was like over $40 and like positioned as a flagship, because I think it has a lot of problems that will be made very clear once people start buying this cube. And, you know, pamphlets are really easy to circulate. You just print them and put them in the cube. It's really cheap, and explaining these differences between the cubes makes a whole lot of difference. Yeah, those are my thoughts on these cubes. I genuinely didn't enjoy cubing on them, and I tried to not let my bias against these like product design issues influence the way I enjoyed the cube, but I actually got worse times, so can't really argue with that. But you know, I also don't want to discourage companies from releasing new things, because moretry, Peak Cube, MS Cube, these are all very new manufacturers, and of course, discouraging them is kind of, you know, overly negative. But I think a company releasing 4 different versions of the same thing in an age where people are making adjustable cubes is a really bold move that you should really explain. Otherwise, I just don't know why you're doing it. It also makes it hard for the retailer to stock, because then potentially you can run out of stock on any of the 4 things. Okay, so that was my assessment and I guess some recommendations for the moretry tianma brand / cube. If moretry, if you're watching this, definitely I hope you can consider some of these things. I know some of these things are rooted in personal preference, like the magnet strength, but I actually do believe a lot of people will find the magnets strong, and a lot of it is just unequivocal business advice, which is to not create choice friction, especially choice friction where people don't even understand the choices. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these talkie videos. I don't even think I turned the cube, so I'm going to show you what it's like to turn an M2 with one finger like this. It's crazy. Like, I can't do any of my EPLLs anymore because what I expect the cube will do is completely different from what it does. So yeah, see you.